Hello everyone, welcome to Mechanical Vibration lecture. In this lecture, we will study about the modal orthogonality or orthogonality of mode shape. So first of all, I'll brief about the modal orthogonality. What is this? So in analysis of multi-degree of freedom system, we idealized a continuous system into n degree of freedom system. Then n degree of freedom system is converted into n single degree of freedom system. So the conversion of n degree of freedom system into n single degree of freedom system, we used a transformation matrix, and that transformation matrix is known as modal matrix. So the modal matrix has a property to convert the n degree of freedom system into n single degree of freedom system, or we can say in that process we used x is equal to phi x and q t. So we can say that the response of the system is the function of space as well as of time, both. So how it will be able to convert the n degree of freedom system into n single degree of freedom system, that property we are going to discuss. And that transformation matrix or phi, this is the modal matrix. So we are going to discuss the property of this phi. So for undamped system, in the last lecture we take for undamped free vibration, we can write m x double dot plus k x displacement vector is equal to 0. So the response of the system is dependent on the response of this system is dependent on both space and time. So we choose xt is equal to phi x and qt. So for the continuous system, this x is the continuous and defined continuously from 0 to the length of the domain. But for the lumped parameter system, x will have the discrete values. So for this, we know that for the continuous system, the equation or governing equations are coupled equation. So to decouple those equations, we assumed this solution, and in this solution we got x dot velocity and phi x q dot t. Then we got x double dot, that was minus omega square phi x q double dot t. Here we assumed q equals to a cos omega t plus b sin omega t, that we have discussed in the last class. So if we double differentiate this q double dot, then we got x double dot as minus omega square phi x q double dot. If replace the value of x and x double dot in this equation, then we got minus m omega square phi q plus k phi q equals to 0. And if we rewrite this equation, we got k omega square m and phi q. Then we said to get the non-trivial solution of this equation, for non-trivial solution, we put q should be non-zero. So from here we got k minus omega square m phi equals to 0. And again, if phi equals to non-zero, then we said k minus omega square m equals to 0, and that was our characteristic equation, and from that characteristic equation we got the characteristic roots, and those values were eigenvalues. So from here we can write k phi equals to omega square phi m. And now if we say in this, if we say omega r, here omega is the natural frequencies of the system. So if we say if omega r is the natural frequency of rth mode and phi r is the rth mode, then we can put that value in this equation. So this becomes k phi r equals to omega r square phi r m. So similarly we can say for the nth mode, for nth mode we can write k phi n equals to omega n square m phi n. So this is our equation 1 and this is our equation 2. Now now we will do some operations on these two equations. So first of all we'll pre-multiply the equation 1 with phi n transpose. So now we will pre-multiply equation 1 by phi n transpose and equation 2 by phi r transpose. So if we multiply equation 1 with phi n transpose, then we'll see this becomes phi n transpose k phi n equals to omega r square phi n transpose m phi r. So this is our equation 3. So now we'll take the transpose of equation 3. Now we will take transpose of equation 3 on both sides. So if we take the transpose of equation 3 on both sides, then we can write phi n transpose k phi n transpose omega r square phi n transpose m phi r transpose. So when we take the transpose of this becomes, these terms will get reversed, or we can say we'll get, this was phi r, this was phi r, so this is phi r. So if we take the transpose of this, the terms will get reversed, because this is the property of matrices. If you take the transpose of A, B, C, then that becomes C, B, A. So now this becomes phi r transpose k phi n equals to omega r square phi r transpose m phi n. This is our equation number 4. So this is the property of matrices. If we take the transpose of ABC, then we will get CBA. So now pre-multiplying the equation 2 by transpose of phi r. So now now we will pre-multiply equation 2 by phi r transpose. So we will get, this was our equation 2. So we will get phi r transpose k phi n equals to omega n square phi r transpose m phi n. This is our equation 5. So now if we subtract the equation 5 from equation 4, if we on, or we can write on subtraction of equation 5 from equation 4, we will get, this is phi r transpose k phi n. This left hand side of equation 4 and equation 5 both are same, so those becomes, that side becomes 0, and this side we will get phi r square minus phi n square and phi r transpose m phi n equals to 0. So if we'll subtract the equation 5 from equation 4, we will get phi, because left hand side of both of the equations phi r transpose k phi n and phi r transpose k phi n. So this side becomes 0, and from this side we will get phi r square minus phi n square, phi r transpose m phi n is as common. So this is equal to 0. So if we say if n equals to r in this equation, if n equals to r, then this term becomes 0 and this would be 0. But if n is not equal to r, then this term has to be 0, because if n is not equals to r, then omega r square minus omega n square cannot be 0. So this term has to be 0. So if n not equals to r, then we can say phi r transpose m phi n equals to 0. So similarly, we also can get from these equations, we also can get phi r transpose k matrix phi n equals to 0. So now we got these two important relationships. So if we pre-multiply the mass matrix and stiffness matrix, if we pre-multiply the mass matrix and stiffness matrix by the model matrix, we will get the off diagonal terms are 0. If in this we can write from here, we can write if n equals to r, then this is not equal to 0, and if n is not equals to r, then this is 0. So we can write m n equals to phi n transpose m phi n, that is not equals to 0, and phi m n r and phi n transpose m phi r equals to 0. So if we write this into matrices form, then we'll get a diagonal mass matrix only. So that would be M11 0 0 0 M22 0, similarly M N N, and this is equal to phi transpose M phi. Here phi is known as modal matrix, and similarly from this relationship we can write from phi R transpose K phi N equals to 0 if N is not equals to R, and if N equals to R, this is not 0. So for this, from this we can write a K matrix becomes only diagonal matrix K11 0 0 0 0 K22 0, and similarly 0 0 and K and N, and this is phi transpose K phi. So we can say if we pre-multiply and post-multiply by the modal matrix to the mass matrix and stiffness matrix, both of the matrices becomes diagonal matrix only, or we can say off diagonal terms becomes 0. And as we discussed, if these matrices are diagonal matrix, then there is a no coupling. So this property of this modal matrix is known as orthogonality. So this property of modal matrix phi we can use to decouple the system, or we can say to convert the n degree of freedom system for which equations of motions are coupled to each other, we can convert into n single degree of freedom system. So this property of this modal matrix, this phi is here, you can write here phi is modal matrix. So this property of modal matrix is known as orthogonality. And physical interpretation we can say all the modes, if we are talking about the three degree of freedom system, then that system will have 3 modes. So all the modes will be perpendicular to each other, or you can say those modes will be, if this is phi 1 first mode, then this is phi 2 second mode, and this is phi 3 third mode. So this is perpendicular to this one, and phi 2 is perpendicular to this one, and these are perpendicular to each other. So all the modes are, if we draw these mode shapes into space or in the 3D system, then these phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 are perpendicular to each other. And these phi 1, the modal matrix phi can be written as phi 1 1, phi 2 1, phi 3 1. This is phi 1 2, phi 2 2, phi 3 2, and this is phi 1 3, phi 2 3, and this is phi 3 3. Here this one is associated with the natural frequency, and this one is associated with degree of freedom system. If I am writing phi 1 1, then we can say this is first, we are talking about the first degree of freedom, means first mass, and we are talking about the first natural frequency. Similarly, if we are talking about this phi 1 3, then we can say that we are talking about the first mass when it's vibrating at third natural frequency. Similarly, phi 3 2 means we are talking about the third mass when it's vibrating at second natural frequency. So this matrix is known as modal matrix. So this is first mode, this is second mode, This is third mode. So now we will consider one example which we have solved in the last class, and we are trying to see the physical meaning of this model orthogonality. So in that example, our mass matrix was 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 1. This was mass matrix, and we got these three mode shapes. This was the first mode, this was the second mode, and this was the third mode, and graphically we represented individually. This was the first mode, this is second, and this is third mode. So we'll write these into one matrix form. So our phi was, was first mode 1.8019, and this was 2.2470, and our second mode was 0.4450 minus 0.8020, and the third mode was 1 minus 1.2468, and this was 0.5544. So this was phi 1, this is phi 2, and this is third mode phi 3. So if numerically we want to prove that the mode shapes are orthogonal to each other, then we can prove that the phi 1 transpose mass matrix and phi 2 must be equal to 0. So then we can say this is these mode shapes are orthogonal to each other. So if we take this value, this is the first mode shape, so transpose of this is 1.8019 and 2.2470. This is transpose of first mode. This is mass matrix 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1, and now second mode, this is 1 0 and 0.4450 and minus 0.8020. So this must be equal to 0. So we can prove that if we first we will multiply these two matrices, then the result of this we can multiply by with this. So if we multiply this with this, first we'll multiply these two matrices, then resultant of these two will multiply with this. So from this we can get this is 1 multiplied by 1, so 1, and these two are 0, so these becomes 0. Then this becomes 1 multiplied by 1.8019, and third element becomes, these two become 0 because of these zeros, this becomes 2.2470 and this is 1 0.4450 and this is minus 0.8020. Now we'll multiply these two, so we'll get 1 square plus 1.8019 multiplied by 0.4450. Then because of this minus, this becomes minus, and this is 2.2470 multiplied by 8.020. So if we solve these components, then this becomes 1 and this becomes 0.8019, and if we multiply these two, this becomes 1.8019 something. So if we solve this, this becomes 0. So now mathematically we can prove that these mode shapes are orthogonal to mass matrix. Mass matrix. So if we physically want to understand the orthogonality of mode shapes, and if we draw these all three mode shapes into a 3D space, then we'll find that all the mode shapes 1, 2, 3 will be perpendicular to each other in the space. So now we'll try to represent these mode shapes in graphical manner. So for this, if we consider a 3D space, this is direction 1, this is direction 2, and this is direction 3. So in this, if we assume this is the direction 1, this is direction 2, and this is direction 3, and this is our first mode, this is second mode, and this is third mode. So in the first mode, in the direction 1, this is 1, and in the second direction from the first mode, it is 1.8019. So in the second, we say this is 1.8019. We are taking approximately, and in the third direction, this is 2.24. So in the third direction, we can take this is 2.24. So if we draw this in the 3D space, so something like this. So this becomes, so this is our phi 1. This is origin, and coming out from origin, this is our phi 1. And similarly, if we draw the second mode shape in the 3D space, in the direction 1, this is 1, and in the direction 2, this is 0.44. So we can say this is 0.44, and in the third direction, this is negative value, which is minus 0.8020. So minus 3 third direction is this one. So this is the minus 3 direction. So in the third direction, this is minus 0.820. So minus direction we can take, this is 0.8020. So if we draw this phi 2 in the 3D space, then we can say this will be something like here, this is phi 2. And if similarly, if we draw the third, this is in the first direction, this is 1, and in the second direction, this is minus. The minus of second direction is minus 2. So this is 1.12, and in the third direction, this is positive 0.55, or we can say this is 0.55. So in this, this is minus 2. So we can say the third mode shape will be somewhere here in this direction. This is phi 3. So now we see the phi 1 and phi 2 both are perpendicular to each other, and phi 2 and phi 3, these are perpendicular, and phi 1 and phi 3, these are also perpendicular to each other. So if we transform them and we'll draw in direction 1, 2 and 3, then we'll find these mode shapes are something like this. This is phi 1, this is phi 2, and this is phi 3. So all three mode shapes are perpendicular to each other. This is perpendicular to 1, this is perpendicular to 3, and this is perpendicular to 1 and 3, to perpendicular to each other. So this is the physical meaning of the orthogonality of mode shapes. These are orthogonal to each other. Or we can say first mode shape cannot be represented in the form of second, and second cannot be represented in third. So these are independent to each other. So this is all about the orthogonality of mode shapes. Now we will discuss about the normality of mode shapes. If one mode shape phi I, if the magnitude of this is unit, or we can say phi I transpose multiplied by phi I is equal to 1, then these mode shapes or modal vector is said to be normal to each other. So if one mode shape or modal vector is satisfying phi I t multiplied by phi j equals to 0 and phi I t multiplied by phi I equals to 1, then these mode shapes are said to be orthonormal to each other. So till now we discussed that all the modal vectors or mode shapes are orthogonal to each other, but it's not necessary they will be orthonormal. Orthonormal will be only if they will satisfy the normality condition, then they will be orthonormal to each other, but definitely they will be orthogonal to each other. So in this case, this will give us phi I t multiplied by mass matrix, and this is phi I. This will be a identity matrix, and in this case this will give us, if I multiply phi I t with K matrix and post multiplied by phi I, then this will give us a omega I square matrix. So these mode shapes in this case, if they are satisfying these two conditions, they will give us this. If we multiply with mass matrix, this will be identity matrix. If we pre-multiply and post multiply by modal matrix, then this will be a matrix with diagonal components and square of frequencies or eigen values. So now in this case these mode shapes are said to be orthonormal. So at the end of this lecture we'll summarize the whole things which we have discussed. So in the summary, listen carefully. In summary, what we have discussed in this class is now mode shapes are orthogonal. So this property of modal orthogonality we'll use in the converting the coupled equation into decoupled equation. So usually mass matrix is always diagonal matrix, or we can say off diagonal components or off diagonal elements are 0. So it is already uncoupled, but when we comes to the stiffness or damping matrix, these are coupled matrices. So all the off diagonal components are not 0, or we can say off diagonal components are non-zero. So what we can do is, if we pre-multiply and post-multiply these matrices with modal matrices, then all the off diagonal terms become 0. So by transforming the coupled system into decoupled system, or we can say n degree of freedom system into n single degree of freedom system, or as we discussed, xt is equal to phi into q. So we can say by using the orthogonality property of the mode shapes, we converting this x into x1, x2, x3 into q1, q2, q3, or n degree of freedom system into n single degree of freedom system. So this is all about the orthogonality of mode shapes. So modal matrix is used to convert the n degree of freedom system into n single degree of freedom system. Thank you.